ingredients for our next soup are these little beauties, which I have just dug up from the garden, as you can see, from the weed patch. And I'm going to cut off their roots. They're a bit muddy and unnecessary. These, as you can see, are stinging nettles, and they are going to be made into another delicious soup, in really much the same way as we made the wild garlic soup. Now, the important thing about the wild ingredients of this is that they have not had any weed killer put on them. Otherwise you will be ingesting all that nasty stuff that we normally leave for animals to ingest. So make sure that wherever your source of stinging nettles is, it hasn't been weed killered for a while. And just a warning, even some of the organic farms around here do use weed killer on their stinging nettles. So if you've got your own patch in the garden, and I have been carefully growing a patch for the butterflies, because butterflies just adore this, then that's the best bit to use. I've just decided to turn a wild part of my garden, our garden, into a patch where we're going to have wildflowers again, but sort of wildflower seeds as opposed to any old weed that wants to grow there. So now, to pop those out, I'm just going to put these in the water, give them a quick wash through. These are the most important things in making this, what, Norman? These are the most important things in making this soup, because otherwise you'll be in a lot of pain. And what you do is you put them into soak, and then fetch my trusty saucepan. Then you strip them like this. So you hold the nettle as though it was growing and strip the leaves off like that, because you don't really need that end bit. That can go in with the roots back in the compost or in the brown bins if that's what you prefer to do with your nettles. Just strip the leaves off like this. They don't hurt, provided you've got on the right armour. Actually, I just felt a sting through there. And I just watch out to make sure that there are no little eggs. Sometimes prospective mothers lay their eggs on the backs of these leaves, and I'm quite sure the mothers don't want their youngsters cooked. Okay. So try to make sure that doesn't happen. So here we have got a nice pot of stinging nettle leaves. And we're going to add a generous slug of olive oil into here, and then some pre-chopped ones I made earlier, as Valerie would say, chopped onions. Okay, so I've just cooked up this white onion in another pan, because I've only got one big pan. That's going to go in the bottom there. And into that, we're going to add these little beauties. Now, because I had a bit of time, I actually decided to chop the stems off. Some of these leaves here, you can see, they've got a slightly longer stem on. They had a longer stem on. So because I was waiting while the onions were cooking, I chopped those stems off, just because if you haven't got a really strong whizzer, then they can go a little bit like stringy beans, you know. So they taste a little bit stringy, those bits. So taking the stems off, most of them anyway, and to turn the temperature up. Try and remember not to put my fingers in there. Very good one. And we'll add quite a lot of salt and pepper. Don't need those anymore, I hope. Good proportion of salt, pepper, salt, sel de la Guérande, very nice. that up a bit. Can you see in there, Norman? That's one sneaky little. Okay, give him a loose shot. Hello, you. Right, so now I'm going to add some stock to this. The stock cubes, I'm afraid. I think probably out you come. 2 of those, because there's quite a bit of soup here. And I'm also going to put in some thyme, which I've just picked from the garden. Obviously you can have fresh thyme if you want, just shred it as you well know, like this, so you don't get the shreddy bits. Just the leaves. Only a few sprigs of thyme really, 2 or 3, to give it a slightly additional flavour. Right, a little bit more water. Come have a look at this, Norman. And then leave it to hobble and bubble for a bit. It's quite interesting, isn't it? It always goes like spinach. I've served this dish for quite a few people that have come to dinner, and I've always said to them, they say, oh, this is delicious, what is it? So I said, well, you tell me what it is. People have guessed spinach, even seaweed, you know, everything, but no one's guessed stinging nettles. So there we are. I think you will enjoy them. Right, it's a bit of onion. So we're going to leave that to bubble away for a bit and come back later. So just to thicken the soup, you need a little bit of potato or corn flour, but potato I think is always nicer. So in order to make it much easier to cook, personally I just do little shavings of potato ready, and then they cook through very quickly, and then they can be mashed up. So I'm just going to put this potato all in shavings and keep boiling. Thank you. A couple of bay leaves go in there, that's boiling away nicely. Celery, and I'm afraid at this day and age I save my lemon for my gin and tonic, so I'm going to put lemon juice in here. 1.5 tablespoons, just to give it that little edge. And give it another whiz, and then test for seasoning. Come forward to have a look. Whiz up the celery. It smells nice. So now we're going to add a little bit of milk. It should be cream, heavy cream, but we don't have any cream. And to be honest, Rhoda's milk or Channa's coon milk is so delicious anyway, and so creamy, that I think it will make it taste quite nice. Just a little test for tasting. It needs more seasoning. That's very nice. I think you'll like that, Norman. Right, I'm going to label this out into a bowl. Here we are. Stinging nettle soup. Highly nutritious. Here we are, Norman. Here's your lunch.
Thank you.
Come and see it.
Lovely.